What place would you not want to visit ever again, and why? I guess that's a fitting question to ask before we get into some spooky stuff.
That location where the chicken nuggets were made with that little imp.
With a little imp.
It was gross.
Fair, fair. Seeing how the sausage was made. All right.
Zayara would really like to stop having to go into the sewers.
All right, understandable.
The alternate plane of existence that one wizard
Almost killed us in.
I won't admit to almost dying, but where we fought that wizard and destroyed him. I'm claustrophobic when it comes to planes of existence, especially a little pocket plane I might not be able to get back out of. I can't show everybody I'm great and that they should worship me if there's nobody else around.
All right, all right. And how about Mix?
I'd have to say the boardroom off the back of the Fight Club. He did not like
Oh,
being there.
yeah. Good one. Good choice. All right. Good stuff. All right. So, it's been a hot second since our last little thing here. Does anybody remember what you got up to last time?
Odds no.
All right. No worries. So, the last time, well, so 2 times ago, you guys had the whole wizard shenanigans and took them out, and great times were had by all, much rejoicing. Ta-da. And you got out, got a bunch of good loot. Got back to Troll Skull. There was some shopping done, some kind of re-equipping done with the new stuff, and you got a message from Victoria. Or wait, no, you didn't. No, you didn't. You guys decided to take a break day. That's right. You guys decided to take like a few days off, and you went out to the beach on the western side of Waterdeep. So you went out the West Gate beach out there. It's less of a beach and more of like a big mud flat, and it's kind of a popular place for a lot of people because, especially for people that don't have a lot of money. You can go out there, you can kind of bring a basket and muck around in the mud and get like, various, mollusks and other things like that, snails and whatnot that hide in the mud, free, easy food of sorts. But there's also quite a few people in Waterdeep that just like to go out there, like the mud that, is often covered by the seawater. Some people claim it has, nice properties for the skin, minerals and whatnot. So sometimes you see some kind of fancier folk out there. But you guys were out there on the beach and happened to come across the Castellanters, Victorio and Amalia and their children, who were kind of having a day out there. They had like a little kind of pavilion of sorts of their own, and their kids playing nearby. And he was curious to kind of hear more about how progress was going with the artifact, with the eyes, since he, given you one of the eyes in exchange for kind of helping him out, helping his family out, save his kids from this whole demon deal that they got into. So he wanted to invite you over for dinner. And so you guys accepted, and that evening you went over to Victorio's house, had a lovely meal with him and his family, kind of gave him some updates that you guys had, taken out this wizard, found another piece, and, we're still trying to, find out the last piece there with that. And Victorio said that there had been some strange news that he had heard out of the village of Undercliff, which you may recall was the village that's like just outside of Waterdeep, just below the cliff to the east. Kind of a small farming town. You did a job for him a long time ago there with some cultists that seemed to be targeting his kids. Cleared him out of a basement. But they got some information to come to light that there had been some kind of strange rumors going on from down there, possibly demon related, and he wanted you to go check it out to make sure things were okay, that there wasn't more stuff coming after his family. So he headed down to Undercliff, and we're surprised to find that it was a lot more deserted than usual. Like, there were still some people there, but it was oddly quiet, given that it's, since this is kind of a big agricultural provider to the city of Waterdeep. There's usually lots of traffic, lots of carts coming through, vendors out selling their farmers market stuff, but it's all just pretty quiet. And you asked around a bit. People were talking about how there had been disappearances, like a lot of disappearances, of people that were just gone in the city. Nobody felt safe to go outside. They worried there was something out there that was some supernatural thing that was snatching people up or something. And you had some information from one of the people you talked to that there was like a man to the north of town that I guess had seen this, what had passed through town. People kept mentioning this cart that had come through town, and then a bunch of people disappeared, and nobody really wanted to talk to you. So you head up to the north, you go to this guy's house, and you find it kind of empty, and the door is ajar. It's weirdly quiet, and there's this weird laughter you keep hearing coming from inside the house, and these kind of banging noises.
Right.
Jingu and Zayar were
Yep. Yeah. And so you head inside the house, and there was a guy in there in the back room, in the bedroom, who clearly had lost his mind and was basically kneeling in a corner, repeatedly bashing his head up against the wall to the point that it was bleeding. There was blood on the wall, running down to the floor, and his face was kind of frozen in this kind of was this peaceful but incredibly eerie rictus grin in the process. And he talked to you a little bit, talking about how there was this cart called Tasha's that had come through, and it was the most beautiful thing that he had ever seen, and all these people in the town were so enamored by it, and went with them, and his family, his wife and kids went with them, but he wasn't able to get in before it left, and so he was here alone, with whatever these deranged memories that he had of this cart. So somewhat disturbed by this, you headed back into Undercliff to try to track down where this cart was, because you noticed there was kind of seemingly heavier than usual looking wagon ruts or cart ruts in the road outside, passing by the house. So you kind of followed those as best you could back to the village. Found that there was like a spot behind some of the buildings in the center of town where it seems like it had parked and like let down some kind of little stair step to get up onto the cart. Lots of footprints around, all kind of going onto this little stair step up to the cart and not coming back. And then it leaving town, seemingly going towards Waterdeep. And so you head up the hill to Waterdeep, to the gate, speak to the guards there. They see a lot of stuff coming through the gate, but they did mention, like, yeah, they remember seeing a cart with, the name Tasha's on it. It was kind of a fanciful cart. They'd seen it come through, but didn't really think anything of it because it was like any other kind of entertainment-looking cart that they see coming through Waterdeep on a usual day. And you tried scouting around the area a bit to see if you could see anything. I know Mix had sent up his familiar in the air to try to get a view. Didn't really see anything, and you kind of gave up for the moment and headed back to Troll Skull, and looking kind of dejected and disturbed by what you had seen. The kids talked to you and mentioned that they would kind of keep an eye out with the other various kind of vagrant children in Waterdeep. Since they all kind of talk to each other, they got their own kind of little underground kids network of sorts. But they would keep an eye out and see if they hear anything from any kids in town for seeing this weird cart. And that's where we left off last time.
I'm sitting outside the Castelliner place overnight, right?
Yeah, you were. So yeah, Mix did go over to the Castelliner place to try to like keep an eye on it because with this cart coming into town, possibly going after the Castelliners, we don't know yet. It seemed like a good idea to maybe keep an eye on their place in case this cart shows up outside their house and yoinks them to God knows where. But yeah, Mix was posted up outside there, and the kids got their eyes out, and I don't quite remember what Zai and Jinku were up to. But
I think we were just with kids.
I think you were just with the kids. But yeah, in any case, trying to find out where this cart went in Waterdeep, because it seems like bad news given what you found in Undercliff. So yeah. It's probably currently probably like late afternoon right now in Waterdeep.
What do you think we should do? Should we try and look
for the cart on our own? I would think that this is the time where it might be going around trying to lure people.
Boo will distractedly wave his hand and say, "Whatever you think is best, I'll follow along."
I'm ready to be people whenever.
Well, you see, this is more of a investigative stealth mission until we're able to beat people up.
We
Gotta
gotta
find the people to beat up.
I'll follow at the back until you say, Tenar Pragadum.
Get those fists sniffing for blood. So while you guys are at Troll School trying to figure out what to do, Mix, you're chilling over at the Castelliner place, keeping an eye on things. Nothing seems particularly out of the ordinary. You don't see any notable carts, especially nothing with the name Tasha's on it. And you're chilling there for like a few hours. Nothing seems to be approaching. Nothing lurking in the nearby streets, anything like that. You do notice after a couple of hours sitting up there, you see Squiddly, one of the kids, kind of go by on the street below, just seemingly like walking down the street. He's got his little like wooden sword out and is kind of aimlessly walking along, kind of swinging it, kind of playing alone by himself, going down the street beneath you.
I'm gonna kind of like call down to him like, Squiddly, what are you doing, man?
And so Squiddly kind of looks, stops, and kind of out of surprise at hearing someone call his name, like drops the sword for a moment on the ground, kind of hurriedly picks it back up, and then he looks up, at the direction, and sees you up there, kind of peering down at him from the top of this kind of residential building that you're up on top of. He's like, "Oh, Mr. Mix, hi. I'm just going around town. We're looking into that mystery cart. Have you seen anything?"
I haven't. I'm here guarding our client's house in case it shows up here.
Okay. There's a friend of mine that I am going to go talk to, Gentry, down in the dock, down near the docks. He might know. He knows a lot of the kids, a lot of the poor kids that live down there. Maybe he might have seen something. And if I hear anything, I'll let you know.
Okay, I appreciate it, man.
He kind of goes back to kind of swinging the little wooden sword around with himself, and kind of skips along down the street to the south, heading to go meet this fellow vagrant child friend of his.
I'm just gonna stay sitting there.
Okay.
I don't have anything else to do until the group
Sure.
finds where to go.
Sure. The ones that are at the house, did you have anything that you wanted to go try to look around with?
I think Sayara would probably try and look. Would maybe want to go look around, like the markets to see if maybe there's something lurking around there. Because
Okay.
at least from what she's figuring, if this place is trying to, lure people away and make them crazy, they would reasonably try and go to populated areas of town.
Okay. Sure, that's a good assessment. Right, so do you want to head to like kind of the big market square?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Rest, you coming along with her? We're doing something else.
I'm most definitely following along with Zyara distractedly.
Okay. No worries.
He
I
has to make sure he can jump in the nick of time to do something.
Carrying all of you is a hard task, right?
Right.
You carry me? Sounds like we need to go back down into the pits and battle again.
Have you seen how many arms he has? It's a lot of carrying power.
Just picks up Boo with one arm and throws him across.
Soon, my friend, soon.
Kind of like with a smug smile of like, haven't I knocked out 2 of you? Isn't that enough?
At least
Very
At least
well.
Sayara
can
can
say
say
that
that
Torta
Torta
has
has
never
never
knocked her out.
That is true.
We gotta add the yet caveat. Because never know when another mind flayer is gonna show up.
You know
what?
Sayara
Sayara
is
is
hoping
hoping
that it is never. On
on
both
both
accounts.
All right, so you guys head over to the market square, and as it's getting into kind of the late afternoon, evening here, the market square is still pretty bustling. The lights are starting to go up. The lampposts and things are being lit, and there's plenty of little lights and things that the various stalls around the marketplace have. There hasn't really been too many times that you guys have gone out to like the market later at night, and it's quite a sight. All of these kind of small, often cloth draped little, carts and booths and kind of little ramshackle put-togethers that some things have. All of this kind of warm glow from the candles and the lamps underneath them. This kind of sea of multicolored fabric over this kind of large open market area. From all the people bustling around, and the carts that you can see, I mean, at least from the descriptions that you've heard, this cart seems to be like it should be pretty noticeable, especially with this kind of emblazoned fancy ass name on it that you've heard descriptions of a couple of times now. But you don't seem to see anything of the sort going on down here.
What's the skyline around us look like, building-wise?
Building-wise? Sure. So around the market area of Waterdeep, for the most part, a lot of the buildings aren't too particularly tall. A lot of like 2, maybe roughly 3-story structures. Most of which are like people that have had more established like stores for a longer period of time. So like the first floor is their fancy shop for whatever the heck it is they're selling, and then they live upstairs. And so, since they got here a long time ago, they're more established than the people that are all just in carts and tents and things in the big open area. The tallest thing is probably on the southern side of the square, where one of the walking statues of Waterdeep is at. I believe that one was the drunkard, who's like a giant statue of a guy sitting down on the ground. I think I actually have a picture of that one, actually. I think it looks pretty cool. Is it this one? No. Darn. Yeah. But it has like there's like a bar kind of built into his lap. That's by far like the tallest thing right around this area, because it kind of the head of this kind of slumped over, legs crossed, sitting looking giant drunk guy statue kind of looms over the southern part of the marketplace, but otherwise pretty open.
I'm gonna head to the rooftops and kind of look around from an aerial advantage. Kind of hit some of the 2- and 3-story buildings.
I think Sayara's gonna go talk to one of the stalls.
Okay. Alright, so Zara, you go kind of approach one of the little stalls nearby. The one you walk up to, it's kind of a middle-aged woman. She has kind of one of those can't remember what the name of them is called, but one of those tilted boxes that you see at like farmers markets. Grange display. Set up with looks like a bunch of kind of various produce. Seems more kind of like lettuces and cabbages type stuff. But she sees you walk up and says, cabbages for a copper.
Hello. Your produce looks awfully good.
Thank you.
See. I'll certainly take a cabbage. Do you have any other recommendations?
Well, I guess that depends what you're looking to do with it. Is there anything you particularly like to cook with your cabbages?
I suppose it depends on the mood I'm in. Sometimes I'll just do a nice stew. Other times do some sort of filling wrapped in cabbage leaves and steam them.
Well, I believe I have some onions that may be of use to you there if you're looking for something to go along with them.
Certainly. Why don't you give me a couple of those as well?
So she, kind of gets that all put together for you there, and kind of wraps them up in kind of a rough kind of paper of sorts, and hands them over to you. 2 copper.
Alright. So Zaira's going to reach into her coin purse and hand over the copper, and as she's kind of rummaging around and paying, she'll say, like, oh, I was in Undercliff the other day and heard talk of some interesting new cart that they had noticed rolling around the countryside coming towards Waterdeep. Some sort of... It was red, right?
Yeah, it was. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Some sort of bright red attraction cart with Tasha's on the side. I don't suppose you've seen it rolling around here, have you?
She kind of thinks for a moment. I mean, we get a lot of carts around here, but I feel like I would remember something as bright as that, as you say. I can't say I've seen anything like that around the marketplace. I guess it depends what kind of attraction it is.
I'm not so sure myself. I've been curious to know. But thank you very much for the produce. I will be sure to come back again.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
So I'll take my produce and go find Boo, since I assume Torta is still up on the buildings.
Okay.
I'm excitedly standing near you, awkwardly not wanting to interrupt, holding a silver in my hand, wanting to purchase even more cabbage. Who knows what that does to his stomach? And he's excited to hang out with Mix later.
Boo just really wants to be in a closed, unventilated room with Mix for some strange reason.
Mix is very glad he's on a rooftop right now.
No, Mix is at the castle lanterns.
Yeah, on a rooftop.
Oh, I thought he was on the ground. Torta's on rooftops.
You got eyes everywhere. So Mix, you continue to keep watch over the castle lanterns down there, and after some more time passes, no worries, Chinku. That's just fine. If there's stuff that's got to roll, we'll roll stuff for you if we got it. But we're glad you're here. You can hear us, right?
Yeah, I can hear you. Sorry, interrupt. Can I get a quick recap of what's going on? We just came in.
Oh yeah. Here, I'll give you a abbreviated.
Yeah.
Do you
haven't missed too much?
Yeah, you kind of remember what happened last time, right? With the cart and Undercliff and stuff like that.
And the guy bashing his head against the wall.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah. So at the moment, you guys have still been kind of trying to find where it's at. Like at the very end of last session, like the kids had mentioned they might be able to help with their underground network of vagrant children of sorts. You know, they all live on the streets. They talk to each other. Mix is watching the Castle Lantern House, and the rest of you have all decided to head over to the market square. You know, assuming, you know, if this thing is looking for people, maybe it's in a place with a lot of people. But as of yet, haven't had any leads from the people in the market of seeing such a kind of boisterously obvious sounding cart with the color and the name and everything.
But we got some cabbage.
You did get some cabbage, at least. And some onions.
Well, important.
But yeah, so Mix was down at Castellaners. And, you know, after, you know, continuing to wait around, still not really seeing a lot of activity aside from just general people going up and down the street. You hear the kind of quick, light pitter-patter of children's feet running up the street from the south of you, Mix. And you look down and you see Squiddly kind of running up in your direction with kind of a fearful looking expression on his face. And he gets below where you are at the building, Mix, and starts kind of looks up into your direction and starts calling out to you, jumping up and down.
What's going on, Squiggly?
I think we found it. Although I don't. It's not good. It's not good. Gentry says all the people in the neighborhood, they're gone. They went in the cart, including Graham.
Oh, that's not good at all. Hey, what I want you to do is find the other kids and everybody get back to Troll Skull. Tell me exactly where it's at, and I'll get everybody else, okay?
Okay. And so he tells you that, you know, he met his friend Gentry down kind of in part of the dock ward, kind of the southern part of the dock ward. And, you know, according to Gentry, this weird cart, you know, parked in, you know, one of the kind of small common areas down there. And, you know, everybody seemed to be really interested in it. And they all went in and they haven't come back. And Graham is evidently some older woman down there who likes to, you know, put out food and help the little vagrant children in the area. But she's not like any particular relation. She's just a nice old lady. But it seems like a lot of people went in there, and Gentry is one of the few that did not. But he gives you that information, where to go, and speeds off.
Okay, I am going... Oh, do I have any of these left? Because this would be amazing.
What do you got?
I'm trying to see if I have my shrinking potion. Nope. I'm going to send my familiar zipping off, looking for everybody else.
Okay.
Oh, wait, I have the sending stone. So I'm going to call him the sending stone.
That would probably be easier.
Yeah.
Quicker too.
That too.
So I'm going to use that and tell everybody what's going on. So, and where
I think
found it.
I'm pretty sure it's Sayara that still has the other one.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. That sounds right.
It's usually Sayara has one, and then the other one floats around.
Yeah. I think, if anything, for convenience, we just kind of assume if the party's in two different places, one of them has one of them and the other one has the other one.
Yeah.
And not really get too micromanagey with it.
What are you talking about? We don't have to track it in our inventory spreadsheet every time we move it around.
I'm sorry, your sending stone isn't charged. You forgot to plug it in last night. So
you forgot to do your 12-hour ritual to
kids unplugged it.
Goddamn kids!
No, Boo plugged in some sort of mystical experiment bullshit and took the power.
Zyara will tell Mix over the sending stone. Got it. We'll meet you down in the dock ward and tells him a business to meet up at. I assume there's a business down there that they all know.
Yeah, I think there would be.
Isn't the Nugger place down there?
No, that's not. That's in the castle ward near the government building. Dock ward would be. I don't think this is. Well, yeah, it is kind of. It's somewhat near. Here, let me get the map up. Let me get the map of that chunk of town up here. So, I don't have the pins anymore because Unity doesn't support the locations pins that I had in old Fantasy Grounds, which is a shame. But this is the part of town where the purple shop and
well, that's easy enough.
Yeah, there's some other stuff.
I'll just tell Mix meet us down in the dock ward at that weird purple shop.
That works.
I'll tell you, I got it, and take off.
Okay.
I don't think any of us will ever forget the weird purple shop.
Nope.
Okay, so just to kind of show where people are at, I'm just going to put one token down here. We'll just use Tortoise since this is square. It'll be easier to see. The gigantic Torta looms over an entire block of southern Dockward.
I mean, that's how he wishes it was. 10-armed frog is now giant.
Torta is the walking statues of Waterdeep now. The end game.
The end is near.
Okay, so, hey, Pumpkin, no stealing the carrot cake. So, where Torta's at is, that's the purple shop, where it's at. And the place that Squidly had described to Mix as to where this supposedly is at is, and I'll kind of doodle. You should see kind of an ugly purple dot up to the north a bit. There's like a kind of a little open.
I do indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed, see an ugly purple dot.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, so in that little kind of square there is where this supposedly is at. Just a few blocks to the north. Hey, buddy, come here. Come sit in my lap. Here. There you go. Okay. I assume you guys are heading up north from the purple shop?
Yep.
Yeah, if we know to go there, then yeah.
I like the purple shop.
Was that a witch bolt on something in particular, Baza, or was that just accidental?
That is me not having my damage set up correctly and trying to fix it.
Oh, no worries. Fiddle with what you gotta do. Okay, so you guys head, north up Zastro Street, and, then off Trollcock Alley towards, Snail Street up to this little kind of back area. And you notice as you get to, this chunk of the dock wards around where this cart supposedly is, it is, eerily empty. And the dock wards aren't the particularly good side of town. I mean, you guys have been here a decent number of times before. But a lot of the kind of lower income type people in town, this is where they are. And like the buildings here are old, decrepit. A lot of them are kind of falling apart. Broken windows, things like that. It's not a particularly welcoming area, and that just kind of exacerbates the eeriness of how empty it is. Like there's just nobody on these streets as you get close to this little common area that you're heading for. And there almost seems to be this very kind of faint, like as you get closer, there's almost this like faint mist that seems to hang low over the ground and the cobblestones of the streets. You turn around the corner just to the north of this little area, and you see in the middle of this square the cart in question. Kind of, it almost kind of hurts your eyes a little bit with how kind of dingy and dark everything is down here. Like, we're getting into the evening now, the sun's gone down, and this kind of bright, obnoxious red sticks out, and there is a large kind of sign mounted on top of, where's the picture I have? There's a large sign mounted on top of this cart. Here it is. Reading Tasha's Kiss. It's a pretty tall cart. There's a staircase extended down, as you can see, leading up to this door in the side of the cart. No other apparent like windows or anything. Just kind of little kind of slat siding. It's probably a good like 10, 12 feet tall to like the top of like the roof of the thing, and then the sign part goes up even farther and kind of glows a little. I mean, you don't really have, you don't have neon signs in Waterdeep, but it kind of almost has that sort of look. Something you've never really seen before, the concept of lit signage like this.
Well, there's our cart in question. We should be careful.
You notice, kind of leaning up against one of the wheels of the cart is a small boy, kind of curled up with his like head in his knees, crying. Just kind of sitting by the wheel, kind of near the stairs there.
I wonder if that's Woodley's friend that you mentioned, Mix.
Could be, but I want to be very careful when we approach that thing.
It's true. Who knows if that really is Squidley's friend or if it's part of some elaborate trap. Either way, we should probably chat.
Yeah. So do you approach?
Has Toda noticed that the team's moved? Like, is he tracking them on the rooftops?
Yeah. I mean, if you were wanting to follow along with them, like along the rooftops, yeah. Like if you were doing that, I'd say you'd probably be, probably on these rooftops on like the southern end or like the corner of this area. You would have seen the thing before everybody else, being on the roof.
Yeah, I'll hop down and head towards the cart.
Okay. As you approach the cart, like the little boy who's kind of crying near it, looks up, sees you all coming, and says, "Don't go in! Don't go in!
Don't go in what?
Don't go in the cart!
Doesn't look like I get fit.
Well, it fit everybody else in the neighborhood. And they haven't come back out. I think something bad happened in there."
Is there like odors or smoke or anything coming off of the...
There isn't there isn't really a smell, like any sort of like bad smell. It's hard to kind of tell a little bit too, because you're in the dock ward, and there's kind of an odor of fish and grime in the air on its own as it is. But nothing else kind of sticks out over that. Like, you almost kind of smell a little bit of something sweet in the air. Nothing like that you can specifically place. But there is like this very, very slight hint of like sweetness or spice in the air. But no like visible smoke pouring out of anywhere, no flames or whatever else. The cart just kind of sits glowing and red and inexplicably has fit the entire populace of this neighborhood inside of it.
And Undercliff.
And Undercliff.
So I'll look at the little kid and be like, "Why are you out here crying instead of running away?"
They took Gram. She cared for so many of the kids around here. And my friends, they all went in there. And Gram went in there. And I don't know what I'm gonna do now.
How about I go in and get her out for you?
Are you sure you can come back?
I don't know. I've never been inside of a magical cart. I don't like magic, personally.
Zorda, you want me to go in first? Sounds like a psychic attack, and I have the most resistance out of the whole group to that.
Zaire is going to kneel down next to the boy and ask him what his name is.
It's Gentry.
Hi, Gentry. I'm Zayara. I think you know our friend Squidly.
Yeah. Squidly lives with you guys, right?
Yeah, he does. Why don't you go to Troll Skull and get something to eat and spend some time with Squidly and the other kids? And we're gonna try and get Gram back, okay?
He kind of wipes some boogers out of his nose a bit and says, "Okay." And he kind of picks himself up off the ground and kind of looks warily at this cart, and he says, "Look out for the don't listen to the pretty clown."
Pretty clown? Was there anything else you saw when all the people went inside?
There was a pretty clown, and she wore red and black clothes, and she had a white face and had a hat, and she did like a dance or something, and the people all really liked it a lot, and then they went in the cart.
Okay.
And I think I don't like clowns, and so I didn't go.
Well, that's understandable. Clowns can be scary. Thank you for the information, Gentry. We're gonna try and take care of this. You go be safe.
Okay. And he runs off to the north, out of the area.
Sort of flips up the ring to engage and walks in.
Okay. Alright, so you head up the little stairs, little stair ladder, a step ladder on the outside of the wagon to the door. The door isn't locked. It opens right up. And you step inside. Are the rest of you following, or you just have Tor going on its own?
I think for right now, Zayara is gonna stay outside just because, just in case we need one person who doesn't lose their mind.
Okay.
I'll go in right after Torta to see what happens to him.
Okay. All right. So let me get something pulled up here. So, as you step into the wagon, the interior, like, as you step inside, you notice that, like, the interior seems to be proportional to what you would expect from the outside. It's very lavish. There are these plush red velvet cushions kind of lining a bench along the back of the wagon. There's a large mirror standing above an oak makeup table. A basket of rolls and fruit resting next to the makeup table that are pretty fresh looking, and the rolls feel warm when you pass your hand over them. There's also a very large wardrobe at the far end of the wagon, and its door is slightly ajar.
I'll take a look in that wardrobe.
Okay. You head over to the wardrobe and kind of pull the door back, and you notice first that there isn't any clothes in here. Like you see the hanging bar where you expect to see the various hangers, but there's nothing hanging on them. And there is a flight of stairs inside the wardrobe leading downwards, which does not seem to make any sense with the construction of the wagon from the outside.
I'll tell Torta and Boo and Zayara what's going on and start going down the stairs.
Zayara is outside.
I have a sending stone. I can talk to her anytime.
That's true. Yeah.
Torta doesn't believe in sending stones.
No, he just hates them now.
Begrudgingly accepts their existence. All right. So the rest of you that are outside still, hearing what Mix is reporting from the inside. So far, the interior is pretty normal aside from the staircase. You still staying outside? Going in with him?
Zayara will go in with them.
Okay.
Oh, hey, welcome, Sarah. What's going on?
Oh, hey.
Would you like some sand?
No, I'm good.
I put the sand back in my pocket. I don't understand. Everybody takes the pocket peanuts and nobody wants my sand.
Mix, did you give Boo something today?
All right. So you all kind of pile into, this wagon. Yeah, you're all able to fit on the inside without any problem. And then, of course, these stairs on the far end that Mix begins heading down at the head of you all. You all follow?
Yep.
Okay. All right. So the stairs descend, and by your estimates of the many staircases that you have come across in your adventures, you would approximate that it goes down about 60 feet. And then, when it gets to the bottom of the stairs, it levels off, and you continue down a hallway for probably about another 50 feet, and find yourself at another set of stairs leading upwards. which goes up for about 130 feet and ends at a very fanciful brass door that is engraved with the words Tasha's Madhouse.
Well, this doesn't seem good.
Sounds great. Have you ever been in a house? They're fun.
I've been in a house. I can't say I'd like to go in a madhouse.
I thought that's what we lived in.
Nix is going to take a deep breath and center himself to prepare all of his mental and psychic abilities.
Okay.
Sayara is going to cast invisibility on herself.
Okay.
And I'm gonna just open the door and look in because this is gonna suck. It's a madhouse.
All right. So let's get you all on a map here. Who am I missing? Oh, Torta. There it is. Okay. Can you all see anything on this map?
I can see what looks to be maybe 2 tables and 4 chairs.
Okay. Quick.
It's working.
Well, it seems like it's only working because I can see, like, if I click on Zyra, I can see she has lighting. Jinku does not. I guess Jinku's not here. Mix does not. You do. Torta does not. How do I make them have light? Because it seems like it's only applied, like, the dynamic lighting to, like, 2 of you for some reason.
You know why? Because we're superior species.
I mean that may very well be the case.
It's the fact that we have dark vision.
Don't tell him that.
The lighting is turned off in this room.
Oh, how do I turn that on? It shouldn't be dark.
So you click the padlock, and a bunch of shit appears on the right hand side.
Correct.
And this is where I get pissed and start mashing shit for a while until stuff works.
Sounds fun.
Okay.
Give me 1 second. There is a specific one. I remember what it is, but I can't describe it offhand. I'm loading up the table.
Okay. How about that? Oh, I think that might have done it. Mix, Torta, do you guys see stuff now?
Sure do.
That did it. Okay, cool. I just had to. I think you were right. I think for some reason it thought the room was dark and only dark vision people could see, but that is not how it is supposed to be.
I have dark vision and I couldn't see, so.
Oh, well, I guess then it was just fucked up then. Okay. Well, that works then.
I mean, the room being dark would add to the spooky.
And that is true.
I mean, to be fair, I mean, I can't see him.
So.
We're just here to really fuck with Jinku. That's the whole point of this.
Yeah. Jinku is just walking around with a blindfold on.
Yeah. I mean, you should be able to see it on the. Like, you should be able to see it on the stream if your computer can handle that. I don't know if it will die.
I don't.
It would
I
die.
don't
Okay.
have the stream.
Oh, I think I can. I guess I'm sure if I tried to show it through Discord, that might break your computer too.
Oh, don't worry, it's fine. I'm
Okay.
the theater of the mind.
Okay, that works. All right, so Mix. You push open this brass door, which swings open without really any effort at all, and opens to a room with 3 small tables in the center, and there's a wooden chair that rests on either side of each table. 2 of these tables are currently occupied. There is a normal-looking human sitting across from what looks like a faceless humanoid of some sort.
I don't like that.
The human's eyes are closed, and an expression of joy fills his face. The hands and fingers of the faceless creature across from it kind of chaotically dance in the air, kind of like it almost looks like it's like weaving in the air in front of the person sitting across from its face. As you all kind of file into the room here, the brass door behind you closes and disappears. And a small woman who looks to be a gnome walks up to you, and her face is also just completely empty, no features. She looks like this.
Nope.
And she walks up to you holding a book with a writing implement, and she kind of gestures to you, and you hear words kind of coming into your mind as she seems to be gesturing like she would if she was like speaking to you, but with no features on her face. There's nothing visible to discern there. And she speaks in your mind. Good. Please, take a seat.
Does that happen through the barrier of the ring also?
I guess for those of you that are invisible, I don't think she'd be able to. Hold on, let me check something here. Okay, those of you that are currently kind of cloaking yourself in some way or another, you don't hear this in your head, but the other three of you, Jinku, Mix, and Boo, you do hear this addressed to you, asking you to please come take a seat.
Probably for the best. Gordon might punch her in the face otherwise.
Okay.
Oh, here, let me unlock the tokens. There you go.
Alright, why not?
Alright. Oh, what? Still locked. Hold on. Try now. Should be unlocked. There we go. So, you guys head over there. As you guys kind of move further into the room, you see that there are a few mix. If you were going to move over there, this would actually be here. The three seats farthest away are all occupied by one of these faceless creatures, humanoids. You also notice that there are a few. There's another one standing over by the. There's like some hallways that lead off to the sides. There's another one kind of standing over by those entrances. Then there's the three across the table. So Boo, Mix, you guys sit down. Jinku, what are you doing?
I'll sit down too.
Okay. Get you over here. So this you hear the voice in your head from this gnome woman as you kind of move over there, and she directs you to take a seat at these tables. The one on the left that was occupied by a human, he stands up and he continues to have this kind of eerily large smile across his face, and he looks at you, at the rest of the party, and he kind of claps his hands together a little bit. And he says, "Isn't this place just marvelous?" And he stands up and then heads over to the west. He's kind of led through the hallway over there to whatever that other room beyond is. Mix, as you guys moved up through the room, you saw there was an older human woman who was sitting at the table that you just sat down at. So she got up and she kind of looks over at you all, and her face is kind of in a scowl, and she says, I don't like this. I don't like this at all. Not one bit. And the faceless humanoid over by the other door on the east kind of leads her. You notice that the one to the east has like almost a little prod of some sort, and is kind of poking her to the east into that room. And she continues just kind of complaining, like, this is terrible. I don't like this.
I'm gonna use my mind link on that lady.
Okay, what's that?
And basically it allows me to talk. I was seeing if I could share any of my psychic resistance and stuff with her, but I can't. But I can talk to her until she's 60 feet away and basically ask her name and what we can do to help her.
So yeah, as she's kind of getting led into this other room, you're kind of talking with her telepathically in her head. She, mentions that, at first she's like, in the voice in her head, like you hear her kind of say, oh, my name isn't important. The people around the neighborhood just call me Graham. But from your mind link with her, you kind of get the sense that her name is Genevieve. But yeah, she does not. She doesn't seem to have taken to whatever they're doing in this place, and seems pretty skeptical of it all. But it seems that whatever these humanoids are, they're just kind of continuing to lead her off in this other room here. But she, is happy to, hear that you are hopefully here to help, and hear that you knew the children. That's what she was mostly worried about.
There's not much else I can do besides talking to her and reassuring her until I figure out what to do about these faceless people, or we figure out what to do about them.
Okay.
Torta's gonna head into that room to the east where they took her.
Okay. Alright, so Torta, we'll move you over here. Zara, what are you doing?
I think Zyara is probably just lurking close to Jinku and Boo.
Okay. Alright. So the three of you at the table, Jinku, Boo, and Mix, all three of you give me a wisdom saving throw. And I'll get yours, Jinku, here.
Okay, I have to ask, is this,
psychic in some way? Or...
Yeah.
This particular thing is just like a flat wisdom saving throw. It doesn't like any. It's not like any particular like attack or anything.
I'm going to use my reaction to activate my dual mind trait and take advantage on this roll.
Ooh, very cool. Okay. Let's see. Jinku, wisdom save. Let's see what Jinku's got. Oof. Jinku was unfortunately a 6.
No one said that Jinku was wise.
So, Mix, Boo, these faceless humanoids across the table from you, like they raise their fingers and kind of doing this weaving motion in the air in front of you. Neither of you are affected. And you don't sense anything change. You don't feel any feelings aside from maybe this is a little weird. But nothing really happens to you. Jinku, on the other hand, you are just overcome by these feelings of joy and love and happiness, and you think this whole current situation is just wonderfully pleasant, and you can't wait to experience more of this new exotic place.
Oh shit! It's the brain puppies all over again.
I mean, at least you weren't full of derp this time.
True, you're just full of happy.
My whole life is derp.
You're on drugs.
So, Boo and Mix, like after a few moments of these creatures doing this weaving in front of you here, you are the little gnome lady comes and gets you to stand up and kind of directs you to the door to the east, the one that Graham had gone through, and you're kind of led that direction. Jinku, on the other hand, is led to the door to the west.
Hey, Jinku, come with us.
I'm sure that someone will make sure that Jinku's not alone, Mix. I will say very loudly.
Oh, wink!
For now, let's go with this.
Yeah. Zayara is gonna follow Jinku.
Okay. Alright. So you all get led into these adjacent rooms. Each of these rooms, there's looks like a portal of sorts in the northern side of the room. The portals look like this.
Don't like that either.
Oh, my mother-in-law.
I do wish I could now.
I'll have to see if I can find the picture of it. It looks like if you've seen
Wait. I'm snipping it.
Oh, you're doing the snipping tool on it? Okay. Zai's getting a picture of it for you.
Only because he just compared it to my mother's.
Trust me, if Jinku is going in this portal, you need to see what it looks like.
Fair. There you go.
Oh my god.
You're welcome.
All right, so
Leave me alone in there.
leave me alone. So Jinku, you're led through this portal, and Zara, you kind of surreptitiously follow along, and you find yourself in another area. Hold on, let me figure out which one this one is. Okay.
While we're walking, I take my mask off and I try their face on. The weird slender peoples.
What do you mean they don't have a face?
Yeah, I know. I try that out. I see how that feels. With my chameleon stuff.
Oh, okay. Oops. There we go. Okay, so Jinku and Zara are up there now. So you guys, Jinku and Zara, you guys go through that portal up there. Tordo, you're over here in the side room. And, you had seen, moments before, Graham was led in here. And, had been, directed towards this other portal. And the floor underneath had just kind of slowly dissolved, and then she disappeared through the floor. Not really like fell per se. Like it almost seemed like the floor opened up and then she just kind of floated downwards. And as Boo and Mix get led in here by these faceless creatures, you see the floor start to dissolve under them, and they begin descending somewhere as well. Do you jump in after them?
Oh man. Two helpless parties. Which one do I go after first? Yeah, I'll follow.
Okay. Alright, so you guys... Let me... get you reoriented here. Okay. So we'll start with Zara and Jinku. So where you, as you kind of come out of this portal, you are kind of suddenly hit with this stench of dry, barren rot in this room. And there's like several different crates that are stacked in a corner to the southwest of this room. And there's a bunch of glass jars on top of them, just kind of resting. They all seem to kind of have a very faint like glow to them. And in the northeast part of the room, you hear coming from the northeast part of the room, you hear a man laughing and also weeping at the same time somehow. Like, it sounds like the same voice, but you hear both, like, you know, continuously laughing and continuous weeping at the same time.
Well, that's confusing as hell.
I mean Zaire is just following Jinku, and I assume she's being led.
Like at this point, you know, Jinku had been led in here by these like faceless creatures, and like once she was in here, they left and returned to the original room, kind of leaving her in here. Like Jinku, you're still thinking everything's wonderful, and you want to know more about this really cool place that you just found out. This is the hottest club in town, Speakeasy Underground. You just found your way in. It's so cool.
Exclusive.
Very exclusive.
This is awesome.
We're just having a girls' night. No boys allowed.
But I'm massively confused by this dude with the conflicting emotions.
You also notice in front of you, Jinku and Zayara, as you come to this room, the man who was sitting in that leftmost chair, he's in front of you. I'm just kind of standing there, you know, kind of over in the direction of where the sound is coming from. Jinku, do you kind of head over towards this sound, trying to figure out what's going on? See what kind of party's happening?
Yeah, probably.
Okay. So, as you head over there, Zayara and Jinku, you see this.
Oh.
So, there is a kind of a bald man with kind of a Neanderthal-looking face, working a series of chains. He seems to be covered in hooks and spikes and various wounds. Seems to be leaking and kind of an unnatural green miasma that dissipates into the air. The chains that he's yoinking on are attached to various pulleys that are latched onto a ghostly figure which is shrieking and crying while it's being pulled out of this man who is chained up, and like the ethereal form of this man, like, looks, pretty much the same as the guy itself, and the human chained up is just laughing maniacally, like thinking this is the best ever. And nearby, kind of behind the guy, you see a few lifeless bodies stacked in a pile. And there are more crates and tables covered in glasses and jars and things. This other human male who was in here before you, he sees you, Jinku, he sees you come in here. And he kind of looks at you excitedly, and he's like, "Oh, that looks like fun. I'm next. I'm next." And you're kind of inclined to agree with him, Jinku.
I don't know. This is probably a good time to do your classic me out of things.
Zara, while you're kind of here, watching this scene, and Jinku seems, somewhat oblivious to what's going on, the person's soul, it seems, is, amidst like the crying that it's doing, keeps yelling, in the direction of, the other people that are standing in this room. "Don't let him take me out!" And the villager, kind of laughing, chained up, keeps going, "No, let him keep going. This is great."
So, I mean, does there seem to be any way out, or is it just the way that we came in?
Let's see. In terms of, hold on. Let me find. In the southeast corner of this room, there is another one of those creepy face-looking portal structures.
Okay.
But aside from that, in the southeast corner, that seems to be the only other entrance or exit of sorts.
So I guess I try and nudge Jinku towards coming back the way we came.
There doesn't seem to be any way back the way you directly came.
Oh, sorry. I misunderstood you.
Yeah, the portal in the southeast corner is not the one that you came in through. That's a different one. Where you came in, like, you walked through that portal and then you were here. There is not a portal behind you.
Okay. Then I try and nudge Jinku towards the other portal instead.
Okay. So, as you're kind of nudging, as Jinku, like, Zara's here, visible next to you, kind of nudging you towards this other portal in the southeast corner.
I mean, if I have my own choice, I would be good with her. I mean, I'm like thinking this is totally cool, or.
I mean, in terms of like you still have like your choice of sort. You still have your choice. You just don't seem to be bothered by anything that's going on right now. Like the things that are happening in here, you don't really see them for what they are. you think this looks like a kind of fun activity. Like, you don't see a guy's soul getting yoinked out with chains. You think this is like some fun looking parlor game and this guy's having like a great time or something.
Also, can I just say that it looks like there is a mouth in that guy's crotch?
There's not, but I can see how the art kind of looks that way.
It does look.
It's
been bothering me, and I had to point it out.
I didn't see it till you pointed it out, but I can't unsee it. Not,
you've ruined everything now.
You're welcome.
Yeah, but it's not like Zyara's like being against like something that's
no, yeah, like basically think of it as like it's not exactly how this works, but like think of it as like you see this all as like a happy illusion. Like you think this is great, but Zyara sees what it really is.
Okay, well, I would say that I would definitely follow Zyara. That's what Jinku's definitely inclined to do most anyways, is follow along with what Zyara does.
Yeah, she might know where more party is. Who knows? Could be.
I mean, Zyara knows where all the parties are.
So, as you kind of are leading, Jinku away towards this southeastern door, and, Jinku's kind of going along, following along. This guy doing this whole business, like, he seems pretty focused on his work. Doesn't really seem to pay any mind that Jinku's wandering around. And, after a few moments more, finishes working on this guy and gets the soul out and puts it in a jar nearby and kind of caps it off, puts a little lid on it. And the man who is in the chains, kind of laughing maniacally and having a great time, hangs lifelessly. And the kind of strange-looking man unchains his hands and kind of tosses him into the pile nearby with the rest. And the other man who was in here with you is kind of growing more excited, like, yes, it's my turn next. For Jinku and Zyara, both of you, viewing this whole just very strange and disturbing scene, both of you roll a wisdom saving throw for me.
Hoping I could not roll anything, because I don't trust my dice.
And we'll get Jinku's here. Crap. Where's Jinku? Here's Jinku. Jinku, you rolled a 3.
I mean, just look at her given state already.
Fair. So, you two... Okay. So, you two, with this check here, for the next minute or so, Jinku, you don't understand why, because you thought this looked like a great time. But you suddenly find yourself kind of retreating into your own mind and are paralyzed as a result of this. You just like freeze up. Like Zyara, you're kind of nudging Jinku towards this other portal, and Jinku just stops for a minute. Zayara, on the other hand, you become incredibly frightened by this whole display.
Checks out.
Yeah. And for like the next short while, you are trying to get away from this. So wherever, I mean, there's that, that exit to the southeast, but you cannot deal with this right now, and you try to run away.
Okay. I mean, if Zayara is freaking out in panic, she's gonna run to whatever exit there is. So.
Okay. All right. So Jinku, you're kind of left standing there, paralyzed for a little bit, and Zara invisibly runs out that portal to the southeast in fear. As you're standing there, Jinku, you see this other human man that came in with you. Like, he gets his arms, locked up in these chains, and this strange man begins the process again of trying to yank this guy's soul out. The rest of you... Oh, actually, with the time it is, we should probably take our break right now before I switch over to the rest of the party in the other part of this place. So let's take our 10-minute break real quick. Come back at 8:48, and we'll continue with what Mix and Torta and Boo get up to in their half of the madhouse. So we'll see you back in a little bit.
Unless we all die first.
Okay. Here we go. Alright, so somewhere else in this place, Boo, Torda, Mix, you all kind of fall, in a way, down this kind of dark shaft for a ways, and then, come to a landing, without, not a particularly rough landing, but you land on your feet at the bottom in a kind of a small, narrow hallway. To the, just to the east of you, you see Gram kind of standing there, looking around. And you see all the walls of this narrow hallway that you find yourself kind of in a dead end in at this moment is a winding maze of mirrors. Every wall is just plastered in a mirror. And they all give you a very uneasy feeling kind of looking into them. The reflections that look back at you out of these mirrors seem to match your movement, but the you on the other side of the mirror seems unfamiliar. Perhaps a you that had made different choices in your life. Torda, for example, you looking in one of these mirrors, you see a version of yourself. You seem to be wearing more of the traditional type clothing of your people where you came from. This seems to be a you that never left and stayed with the rest of the Grung. But from what it looks like, looking at this reflection, whatever that choice was does not seem to have gone so well for this other you. You almost look a little haggard as a frog dude can look, but you look thin, perhaps from hunger. You notice that this reflection of you has many bruises and welts, perhaps caused by onlookers taking out their spite on you of something of that sort. Mix, you're kind of looking around in these mirrors. You see a version of yourself that is clothed in these magnificent robes and seems to be like wearing these various talismans and rings and things that seem to denote great influence or power. Boo, you look into some of these mirrors. You see one where the you looking back at you seems to almost not exist. You see a form of you looking back at you that almost looks to be a mist of sorts, vaguely in your shape. Another mirror, you see a version of you dressed in these deep, kind of dark blue, dark black robes, and there is this kind of hint of green fire in your eyes in the reflection. all of these kind of seemingly dance around you in the mirror. Each of you, looking at these mirrors, you only see the reflections of yourself. You don't see the reflections that your various compatriots see. Graham kind of looks at you all, kind of standing there looking around bewildered, and she kind of dusts herself off and looks at you all and says, "Well, let's get moving. These are all dreams that died a long time ago."
All right, Graham, let's get moving.
All right. So you all continue moving through these hallways. It seems to be like a bit of a maze. Like you guys are wandering around, and it branches off in various places as you're moving around these halls. And it's difficult to... what the heck was that sound effect? Alright then, Sirenscape. It's kind of difficult to find your way around as you keep getting kind of turned back in on yourself from these reflections. And like the longer that you wander around, like the more these various alternate versions of yourself almost seem to taunt you a little. Like they begin less and less to mirror your movements and begin to almost like mock your movements in these mirrors.
Well, Torta not liking where he came from, his instinct is going to be to start punching mirrors.
Okay. Torta, you start punching mirrors all over the place. Like you keep seeing this version of yourself, somewhere in your homeland, and just are not having it. Let's see here. And you notice when you first kind of smash into one of these mirrors, this reflection of you in your homeland dissipates. It seems that smashing the mirror lost this reality, and you see a different reflection now, like appearing all around you in the mirrors that remain. You see a version of yourself, Torda, seemingly, some sort of adventure, maybe much like you are right now. This one still has both of his normal eyes. You see yourself kind of outfitted in this kind of well-fitting and deftly crafted leather armor. You seem to have a fine crafted sword at your hip. Perhaps this was a lifetime where you went off on your own in the wilds, adventuring on your own. It's difficult to say, but it's no longer the abused version of yourself in your homeland.
So, are the mirrors trying to influence me to feel a certain way? Is that the main effect?
I mean, like the longer that you all remain in this room, like the unease that you kind of felt when you first came in here just seems to build. Like seeing these like alternate paths your life could have taken seemed to bother you quite a bit. And you begin to, especially with like these hallways being narrow and kind of bending in on themselves in a maze of sorts, you start to become more frightened as time goes by, and uneasy. Like the longer you are in here without, finding an exit.
Who asked Boo for like a scrap of cloth? Just something that he can wrap around his eyes. Because as a monk, he can navigate pretty well.
Oh.
You know, part of the training being blindfolded to fight. And if he can get that scrap from either one of them, he doesn't care really who.
Oh yeah,
Smart.
I cut a scrap off of my robe.
That's a really good idea. Nice.
With the ascending stones and with the mind flare and the mind control that he's been impacted by, it's already like fear and anger building in him. He's going to wrap his head so he can't see and pop out his arms and just start running, smashing any mirror that his arms tap as he goes.
Okay.
Like, disregard for where I'm at, where I'm going, just constantly moving until exhaustion makes him stop.
Okay. Sure. That was a really great solution you came up with there. I gotta hand it to you there. So you began running around, smashing these, and trying to kind of use the abilities that you've honed throughout your life to try to get some way out of here. Like the other two of you, as you're seeing Torta go off down these halls, smashing things. Like as they're being smashed, like you two also like see various versions of alternate realities appearing and disappearing pretty rapidly as things keep getting smashed. Like Boo, you catch a glimpse of one where you almost seem to you see a version of yourself, Boo, that is partially illithid, which is kind of a disturbing sight to see. Perhaps this is one where the encounter underground didn't end so well for you. Is another one that particularly notably stands out. Mix, you see one in the flash going by, one where you see yourself as you were the night of the raid on the Graalhund Manor, and you see the eyes of this version of you are like filled with like fire, and you see that like the robes that you are wearing, or like you see yourself like putting on this robe that seems to have this symbol of Asmodeus on it, like that you've seen before in the course of your various investigations around the city. One where you were tempted by these various demonic forces and decided to go with their side. All sorts of neat stuff. But they come and go in a flash as Torta takes off. And, Torta, as you're going along, taking these down, you can kind of hear in your ears Gram, who's with you all. She's kind of cheering you on at this. She sees you taking it to these mirrors, and she's like, yeah! Stick it to them! Those dreams are dead and are never coming back! And eventually, you as your fists are flailing around, you hit something different that doesn't immediately break. And you find yourself here. And, as you bonk against this kind of harder something that is not mirror glass, do you peek out of your blindfold and see what's going on?
No, I'll call out to see if Boo's close.
Okay. So Boo, Mix, you hear, Torta calling to you. It's a little easier to navigate in here now that these mirrors are all gone. And you saw the direction you went off to the hallway to the north. You guys truck up that way?
Yeah, I tend to stick pretty close to Torta.
Okay. All right. So you guys make your way up there, and you find Torta standing there, still kind of like panting. He's still kind of flailing his arms a little bit, in front of another one of these portal structures that look like the gigantic face.
Hey, Mix. Found another mouth. Looks kind of like your mom. Let's walk in there. Torda, can I guide you by taking a hold of your shoulder? Or perhaps you might want to lay your hand on my shoulder and I can lead you.
What is it? Because I'm not taking this thing off yet.
So what I see is we're in an area with no mirrors anymore here, and in front of us is like a really big face, and the mouth is open, and we can walk in the mouth. This is how we got here. Was walking in the mouth before.
Yeah, I mean I've been through the portal. Should be able to navigate through with no problem.
Yeah, here. And I'll kind of like poke you in the direction and say, all right, let's go.
Did Grand Lady follow us?
Oh yeah, she is happy to follow you all, especially after seeing this just fantastic display of just taking life by the reins.
All right, let's go through this stupid thing again.
Okay. All right. So let's see. That comes out. Hold on. Let me get things adjusted here. Mix. Okay. So you three come through the portal and you find yourself in kind of another narrow hall here. There we go. And you see, you walk out, and like you walk out of another one of these like big face things into this hallway. And you know, looking like Mix, you know, from where you're standing, like you look down to the south. And you know, I guess by this point, with the amount of time that it's been like with you guys over on the other side, Zara, like you come running out of the face portal that you're currently standing outside of. Like this would be still while you were frightened, and you see, you know, Mix and the company come walking out of this other portal to the north of you. Jinku is technically not there quite yet, but we'll just leave her where she is for simplicity purposes on the map. But you see the other three coming out of another portal to the north of you, as you're kind of terrified running out of this other room.
Zaire is still invisible, so they wouldn't see
Yeah, they wouldn't see her. You see them.
Zaira sees them and like...
Oh, you're muted.
Oh. Sorry. I forgot to unmute after the break.
So Zaira would run out and pretty much just immediately run behind Torda because he can beat up anything that would try and steal her soul.
The question is, you said you were invisible. Did you turn that off?
Nope.
You might
I didn't say I touched you. I said I ran behind you.
He's gonna feel the... And he's
like
you're gonna get hyper pissed. Like scared and hyper pissed, so naturally he's gonna start swinging.
Well, she's hyper scared. She's not gonna care.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What the?
Torta's still got the arms out, so he's gonna turn around prepared to kick butt.
I don't like this place. I'm gonna yell, "Hey, Jinku, come here!"
Yay! Hey, I'm gonna go to them because I love my friends.
So I guess Zyara snaps to and is like breathing really heavy and freaking out about why she was freaking out. And spots Torta and she's just like, Torta, I swear to God, if you punch me just because I'm invisible, I'm going to hurt you.
He just snickers. He's not uncovering his eyes.
Did Jinku come out of that room yet? No, Zyara is saying that in character.
No, it sounds like she's laughing down there. I suppose
There is nothing in that room to laugh about.
I think you and I have different definitions of humor.
She needs to get out of that room. Just trust me.
All right, all right.
You want me to go get her? Like, point me in the direction.
Zyara just like gives Torta a degree to turn around and points him in the direction.
I'm gonna stick my head in there and see if I can get Jinku out. I'm not going in there. I'll throw my rope at her. I'll make a lasso and chuck it at her.
I'm quite happy.
I'm gonna tell everybody to yank on it. I'd even look to see where it landed. So if we choke her, if we're dragging her through, we'll fix her. Don't worry, guys. Okay, I'll say 1, 2, 3, pull. Just yank her through this thing.
I'm sure I said we while I was being pulled through the air. Whee!
All right.
You're wonderful. I'm so glad to see you. You're all great.
So, can I do like a perception or a arcana check to see if I can do something to get Jinku out of this? Like, get her mad to break it?
Let's see.
Turtle just walk up and smack her.
Oh!
Let me see if that is something that can be.
That hurt, but you're mine and you're great. Oh shit, he didn't spill my pocket paint, did he?
How loose are your pockets?
Yeah, how well strapped in.
I
would say that I would say that probably with like a good shake and some slaps from friends could probably get Jinku out of this enchantment.
This is all my domain, guys. Thanks.
Okay.
We do a full round of hands and invisible fists.
Not non-damaging slaps, I hope.
Yeah, open hand,
Gentle slaps.
Open hand, rings off.
Remember, the back of the hand is for direction. The bottom of the hand is abuse.
Jeez, I was gonna do this in a
I'm glad
non-violent
you
way.
said it. I was gonna say it if you didn't.
So, Jinku, you like you're getting kind of slapped a bit by Torta here to wake you up. And like the first couple ones, like you're still kind of in this enchantment. You're just like, yeah, woo, and then you're like, oh, wait, what? Ah, crap. And Torta's here, like kind of slapping you. You're like, as you kind of come out of this.
Ow, knock it off! What the hell, man?
One more for good measure.
Torta, if you hit me again, I'm gonna sue you.
What? Never mind.
Is there a concept of lawsuits in Waterdeep? That's a good question.
I mean, Waterdeep does have enough laws.
That's true.
I would not be surprised.
I'm sure. Well, we won't get into that. So, you are all in this hall with these various face portals in various locations. The one that the three of you come out of, the one the two of you come out of, and the hallway goes to the north and to the south. To the north of where Torta and Boo and Mix came out of, there is another of these face portals heading north, and the hallway goes kind of around a corner to the south as well.
Well, how we can get everybody out of here? Or do we even care? Do we just want to run?
Well, we need to save the people. But the only person we found is fucking Granny here, and I'm not even entirely. I have never met her, but I'm not certain this is really Granny.
Oh, I'm definitely Granny. My mind is as fit as a fiddle.
Oh, I bet you are. I don't trust you.
You don't trust anyone to be fair.
Should we go kill the dude ripping souls in the next room? Because I'm pretty sure we're not going to save that guy that was chained up.
Well, then I'm not so interested in really killing somebody. If you don't think the guy can be saved, just leave him alone. Is there one of these mouths we didn't go through?
Yeah, the one to the north, at the north end of the hall, you didn't enter or exit from.
Let's go through this. Let that demon be. He's hurting one person.
Okay, but there's also a portal here to the south, it looks like.
You go that way. We'll all check this one.
I'm not going anywhere in this place alone. No way.
This way, Torta.
I'll follow.
Okay. So you all head to the north one? Okay. Alright, let me... Wish it would let me drag these across rooms easier. Instead of having to delete them all and then re-drag them into the right room. Okay. So, you walk through this portal to the north, and you find yourself in what you assume is a room. You don't see any walls. It's just darkness in every single direction in here, except for one light source, which is a beam of light coming from somewhere above, illuminating a creature sitting in front of you on a chair. And this creature is a bit confusing to look at. It almost seems to be a combination of all of you at once, somehow. And also, like, all of you and all of the things you're wearing and all of the knowledge you know and all of your lives combined into one single amalgamation creature sitting in front of you, staring at you. And the face that you walk through to get in here is gone. So you're in this just dark void with an amalgamation of all of you.
Alright. So I'm not saying that thing's unattractive, but it's weird.
There are certain parts of it that Boo finds quite pleasing. But which parts he'll never tell.
It's not like approaching anything, it's just sitting there?
It is just sitting there. And yeah, as you all kind of stand there staring at this thing for a moment, the kind of darkness in this room swirls, and it as it reshapes around you, it almost looks like the room that you're standing in is like the main room of like Troll Skull. except this thing is sitting in a chair in the middle of it, staring at you. And it kind of lets out, like, it speaks to you in this strange voice that seems to be a combination of all of your voices, and says, "Is this more acceptable?"
Yeah, sure. It's just like I lost it, whether you should ask who or what is this thing.
Can you make yourself purple? It would make me more comfortable.
As you mention this, the parts of it that are you, Boo, turn purple.
Toto will lean over to Bo and ask if he needs to fight.
The creature on the chair kind of continues staring at you all and says in this strange combination voice, "I will allow you safe passage from here as long as you each offer a permanent memory. This must be significant or something terrifying. You will forget, but I will remember, and your memory will be replaced by another that I have stored."
Ooh, your voice sounds really weird.
It is your own voice.
It's this weird thing in front of us that's offer. You heard the offer. It looks kind of like you. It's weird. It's just looks like all of us at once.
Do we have a choice of memory that we receive from you?
No. It is one that I have stored that I will select for you.
Fine. I'll give you the memories of the Grung homeland and the cowards that they are. It's terrifying.
Okay. So, you step forward, Torta, to this creature, and it reaches out its various of your all of your hands, and kind of holds them in your direction, and you find this memory of your homeland and the way they treated you and the things that you suffered there disappear from your mind. You no longer remember anything about that place. And a moment later, you have another memory appear. The memory that you now have in its place, like, you don't have any idea who this belongs to at all, but the memory is you had an affair and she never found out, and the person that you had hooked up with died in a raid by bandits, and nobody ever found out, but you still know, and you still feel guilty.
That would be a odd concept for Torta.
That would be.
He doesn't really know guilt.
All right. The Torta steps back from this chimera of sorts of all of you. Who will be next?
Jinku will come forward and she'll offer up the memory of when her family abandoned her. Specifically, her sisters abandoned her. And, what happened right before she got this group.
Okay. 1 second here. Okay. See.
I don't know if this is way back when we started. It was with Jinku wanting to learn magic. That's why family abandoned her, which was how she ended up with. They didn't believe in magic.
Okay. All right. So Jinku, you offer up the memory of your family. And, you know, once again, like you step forward, these various arms reach out, and you find the pain and of this memory of your family rejecting you is gone. And in its place, you have a memory. It was cold. You were sick. The blizzard covered their cries. Even if you weren't sick, there was no way you could have heard them. Maybe. Hopefully. Burying them was a waste of a weekend.
That sounds like most of the jargon in Jinku's head.
Alright.
You said painful or acceptable?
He wants a memory that is either a significant memory, so something like the face of a loved one, a, like, promise from a wedding, something like that, or something terrifying.
Oh, I know. I'm going to give away my memories of how to release Brew from his purse that links him to me.
Interesting.
Shit's get real.
All right. Interesting development. All right. So, Mix, you step forward and you offer up this memory of binding Boo to your servitude. How that works. And this disappears from your mind. And in its place, you see a memory of you were young. You were a young boy. The man came to your family and took you away from them. You were a price that had to be paid. And then, afterwards, only suffering as you were transformed into demonic servitude.
That's not too bad.
Maybe.
So I give you this, and you're supposed to give me safe passage, but like, what happens if I don't? Then I just gotta deal with all your bullshit?
Well, if you do not, and you choose to remain here, well, you will go mad, for one. Your mind cannot abide this kind of place for long with me. So if you want to stay here and offer up all of yourself, you can. But if you wish to leave, I offer you the price.
Well, what about the rest of the people that have come through here and haven't come out? What about them?
They have gone beyond. They have made the trade. What happens beyond this room is not of my concern.
But they all gave you a memory, huh?
They did. And I keep them for myself and for others that come in the future.
All right, then. I will give you the memories of every positive moment I have ever had with Nix. Is that significant enough for you, Demon?
That is. Alright. So he takes this memory, and in its place, let's see here. In its place, you are a middle-aged man, and you are looking at you're looking with sadness at a home that perhaps was yours, was important to you, and you remember a feeling of pain and a feeling of blood from running from some wound on your head, the warmth, perhaps the smell, a little bit of it, the iron, and of the robed men who beat you and dragged you from your home and took it from you. And Boo, you are surprised to recognize this house as the one in Undercliff from a long, long time ago, the farmhouse.
When we first investigated, or the second time we went?
The first time you went, with the cultists in the basement.
Well, Nix, someday I'm going to achieve immortality. I'll watch you die. And I hope before then you continue your line. your family will serve me. Let's go to the next room, shall we?
Well, hold on.
Friends?
Zara still has a memory.
Oh, I forgot we didn't get Zara. Sorry.
I need to ask you a question off mic.
Okay. Hold on. Okay. Go ahead, Zay.
I offer you the memories I have of my deity Lyra and the pact that I have made with her.
What?
That is acceptable. So he takes these memories of your god from you, and in its place, let's see here. You receive a memory. You are a middle-aged man, and you have a son that is named Gentry Hull. And he does not impress you, and you don't like him very much, and you know that that makes you a horrible parent to think that.
Well, that just hurts Zyar on a deeply personal level.
Oof. All right. So with that, with the last trait of that memory, the darkness around the edges of this room thins a bit, and you see to the east and the west sides of this room are two more of these face portals that have now appeared.
What do you guys think? East or west?
I don't think it matters.
It's true.
It did say that we would have safe passage. I think either will lead us back out.
I follow the motto left and see you can't go left no more.
All right. Okay. So, from so all of you, from your experiences with this chimera of yourself in this room, all of you roll a wisdom saving throw as you leave from your experiences here.
I'm assuming I would have my reaction back by now.
I would assume so, yes, by this point. Mm-hmm.
Oh, is there a different thing I'm supposed to be doing? Oh, yeah, sorry. I rolled the wrong one. Oh, I should have checked.
I mean, it's the same either.
Oh, is it? Well, no.
Oh wait, no,
I
it's
get
not.
a plus 6 on my save.
Oh, that's right. Okay, so that one would have been correct. Okay, let me roll Jinku's. Okay, Jinku, you rolled a 17 this time.
Hell yeah!
All right, so let's see here. Crap, where'd it go? Oh, there it is. Okay. Let's see here. All right. So, Zara. So you all leave. You all head to the east or to the west. Sorry, the left to leave. And like your experiences here, and especially in your case, this memory that you got of evidently this kid you met outside's dad stuns you. Like you are stunned for a little while.
Okay.
Okay.
She's dealing with some long buried emotional trauma of her own parents.
Okay. Let's get you all in this room here. Okay. So, you step into this room. The floors and the ceiling of this room writhe. They pulse. They gurgle. They breathe. A closer inspection reveals that this floor is a mass of tentacles everywhere.
Why?
Why not? Dominating the center of this room is a large tentacle mass sitting between two large cages. So you see the one cage to the east and one to the west. inside these cages are more kind of just common folk looking people. One of the cages, they are all screaming in absolute terror. And in the other cage, they are mumbling incoherently. Just absolute broken shells of their former selves. And these this tentacled mass in the middle seems to be like reaching in towards, you know, various people inside these cages, and rapidly, like in a quick motion, removing a limb and replacing it with a tentacle.
Well, we found the people. Let's save them and get out of here.
Kind of change isn't all that bad.
What, you want tentacle arms?
So the cages that are like in here, they're like 10 feet tall ish, height wise.
Can we open them up and let people out?
Looking at the cage, go ahead and roll an inspection check. That's right. That's one of them, right? Investigation. That's the one. That's what I was thinking of. Sorry with an I. Investigation. Roll investigation check. Okay. You take a look around the cages. There doesn't seem to be a door on like the sides, but you notice kind of looking into the cage past the villagers that are in here, there is a door, looks like a hatch on the top.
And what are the cages made of?
The cages look to be made of some sort of metal, it looks like. As like Boo, as you're kind of looking around at this, you know, admittedly pretty nightmarish display going on, you notice that like this giant mass of like tentacles in the middle that's doing this horrible work to the people in one of these cages. The limbs that it takes, it seems to like put onto itself. So it's like this weird mix of tentacles and limbs. It's like some straight up Resident Evil shit.
I'll, you know, kind of take my time and observe for a little bit. This is kind of interesting. But then I'll try and get on top of a cage and open it and see if I can take them out.
Okay.
Does it look like we can turn the cage?
Not that you can see. Like the bottom half seems to be pretty tangled, and like the floor is all tangled. Like even moving around a bit in this room is a bit difficult, just because the floor is like this pulsing mass. But yeah, in terms of turning it, like the bottom seems to be kind of entwined in all of this, so you don't think you can like rotate it or anything at all.
Can I open the top and drag someone out?
You go up on top, and it looks to be locked.
How many cages is there?
2. The one that you're on, where you guys are all standing, and then the one on the western side of the room.
Okay, I'll use knock on them.
Okay. All right. So while you're up here on top of the cages, roll me a dexterity saving throw, Boo. While you're up here trying to get these open. Okay. So you're casting knock to unlock these, and you see like one of the tentacles from this large mass in the middle seems to kind of swing in your direction, and you manage to dodge without too much difficulty. You get these cages open, and like the people inside are, clamoring for your help.
Come on now, don't touch me. Let's get you out of here so that we can leave. I'll help them out.
Okay. All right, so you go to, and you're kind of trying to lift these people up out of here. Most of the ones in this eastern cage are still all themselves. The western cage, that seems to be the one where people have had like limbs replaced, and they're the ones that are like screaming in terror. Where the ones on the closer cage to you are the ones that were like mumbling incoherently. But you start trying to help these people up out of the hatch as best as you can, and you hear this like kind of curdling scream of fury from inside of this mass of tentacles in the middle of the room. It's almost kind of like a feminine scream from the sound of it, like not like beastly, just more like a woman screaming. And the thing in the middle of the room starts kind of flailing wildly and reaching in you all's direction. And so with that, we're going to stop there since it's 10 and get into that fight next time with this nightmare creature.
Sounds fun.
All right. What a fun cart. What a great place.
I don't think we can call it a cart any longer.
Yeah. Technically, it's another pocket dimension.
And Boo was just saying he didn't like the first one.
Yeah, Boo's definitely not going to like pocket dimensions at all in the future. Bad times in any and all pocket dimensions.
Yeah, at least in this one, we're not going to want to take anything. We just want the hell out of here.
Yeah, right.
We don't know that. We don't know that yet. There might be something good still.
Okay, it could be.
Never say never.
Yeah, get out of here. Call the city guards. Tell them to come in here and clean this place out, and then burn it.
Thanks for coming, you guys. We'll see you next time.